AEW is kicking off Labor Day weekend with their biggest show of the year. AEW 2020 is going to go down this Saturday, live from Daly's Place on pay-per-view. Originally, this event was going to take place at the Sears Center in Chicago, but because of COVID, AEW is being now forced to do this show at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, where they've been doing all the episodes of Dynamite and a lot of the pay-per-views as well, just like Double or Nothing, just to give you an example. And I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. It is right now, as I'm recording, it is Thursday. It is September the 3rd, 2020. It is 10:30 a.m. I literally just got out of work an hour ago as I'm recording this, and being that this is the AEW All Out 2020 preview and predictions video, I feel like for this I had to get dressed for the occasion. That's why I got my black and gold on, right? I got the black and gold, got the Elite t-shirt on. Holy crap, I'm literally dressed for the occasion. Just wait till what I have on Saturday, but that is indeed around the point. I want to thank all of you for tuning in back into the channel. If you are new here, please, I encourage you all, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell icon, be notified when I upload a video, when I go live, and all that fun stuff. Also, while you're at it, give that big old thumbs up button while you're at it, and share it through social media. Follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. In case you guys haven't realized, literally yesterday on Wednesday, I went live for an impromptu Around the Point where I gave my thoughts on Payback 2020, my thoughts on Eric Young winning the Impact World title, my thoughts on Mauro parting ways from WWE, my thoughts on this whole thing about Brock Lesnar now being a free agent, where could he go and all that stuff. So if you've not checked that out, go give it a listen. It's on the archives of this channel and as well on all the podcasting platforms where you can listen to Around the Point on the go, such as Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, and also over at Spotify. So go give it a listen. And if you're an Apple Podcast, give us the 5-star rating. It does help out the podcast in the long run. Anyway, AEW All Out 2020. I know a lot of people that are looking forward to the show. I have a lot of friends that are diehard AEW fans that for them, this is the WrestleMania. And it essentially kind of is for AEW. This is their WrestleMania, right? I have a lot of friends on Saturday who are going to look forward to the show. As we speak, they've called out from work, or they're going to be working early because they want to watch All Out. I have a lot of friends who are going to be getting the chips, the dip, the soda, the beer, you name it, the wings, just to watch the show. I'm going to be watching the show. I'll be doing a live review once the show is over. Likely be myself with Big Mike, Walter, and likely Chase Oliver, just like we do when we review all these AEW pay-per-views. So again, I encourage you all to please hit that bell icon and be notified when I go live and I upload a video. So let's look into the AEW All Out 2020 card. There are 9 matches on this card, one of them being on the buy-in. I did watch Dynamite last night. I will say, for me as a whole, I thought Dynamite wasn't really a bad show. I just felt as a go-home show to what is supposed to be their biggest show of the year, it felt kind of weak to me. But that's just my opinion at the end of the fucking day. I want to hear from you guys in the comment thread below, your thoughts on All Out 2020. What match are you looking forward to and all that stuff? And if I'm looking at this card right now, as I am right now, okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's only like a couple of matches that I look forward to on the show. Everything else for me is kind of skippable. I'll even go further. I'll go one step further and say I thought All Out last year, the match card from last year, is completely better than this year's, if you want my honest opinion. Okay? But it is what it is. Anyway, let's get into this. We have the first match on the buy-in. Well, I guess the only match on the buy-in. We have Britt Baker versus Big Swole. They've been going at it back and forth on Dynamite. And for what it is, I do find it kind of entertaining. I know for a lot of people, Britt Baker, they finally, again, when she started off as, it was supposed to be originally the face of that women's division, and then she went heel, she got hurt, and I will say, as a character, she grew on me. And I know I'm not the only one as well. Apparently, this is Britt Baker's first match back since her injury, so there's that as well. I do think, though, coming out what happened this past, literally last night on Dynamite, where Britt Baker got the upper hand on Big Swole, I do think Big Swole does get the win here. So I'm going to go with that. But I do think, though, for what it's worth, it should be a solid match. One big critique that I'll say that AEW does get, and you can make the argument it's deservingly so or not, depends where you stand on the situation, that AEW has a lack of showcasing their women, if you will. That's one of the big knocks that they do get. And again, depends where you stand on it. It is what it is. Some people will agree, it's not right how they showcase their women. And then there's some people that don't have an issue with it. And it depends really where you stand on it, where you stand on the topic. But I do think, again, it should be a fun little match, what have you. Nothing to go crazy about, but I do see Big Swole getting the win. From there, we go on to the main card. We go to Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match. This was made official last night on Dynamite by Matt Hardy. A Broken Rules match where if Matt Hardy loses, he will leave AEW. And the build-up is simple. Hey, Sammy Guevara has been a thorn on Matt Hardy to Matt Hardy and back and vice versa. And a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite, Sammy Guevara threw the chair at Matt Hardy, literally cut him open, and there's this whole thing on social media how Sammy was irresponsible. It was all in the moment, if you will. And I think it was last week, Matt Hardy and Sammy had a match. I think it was a tables match where Matt Hardy made Sammy bleed. So they're kind of even in a way. It should be a fun match for what it's worth. I do think, again, Sammy Guevara is a talented performer. Despite what you guys may think about him and what he said on the internet, I do think, again, Sammy is talent at the end of the fucking day. Matt Hardy, at the same time, I personally feel, when he came into AEW, right, and he came in under broken Matt Hardy, that was fun. Stadium Stampede was fun. But after that, I just feel like he just dwindled down. I feel like now he's just there, whatever, just picking up a paycheck. I'll be real about it. A part of me wish he just would have stayed in WWE, just been humble with his shit at the end of the fucking day. I put it this way, if he would have stayed in WWE right now, I personally feel him and Jeff would have been tag team champions right now. But that's just me. But that being said, I do think, it's just me, of course, I do think that Sammy Guevara does get the win. Again, you have a lot of members of the inner circle going at it on All Out, competing in different matches. You want to throw these guys a bone, right? So have Sammy win. Matt goes away. Again, we're in a pandemic. I'm sure he wants to be at home as well. So there's that. And you bring back Matt Hardy on a later date, what have you. From there, we go on to the Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus the Young Bucks, where it's a tag team match. And I guess there's like number one contender implications here for a future tag team title shot. If you remember last night on Dynamite, it was literally an 8-person tag. It was Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks versus SCU and Private Party. And they all went at it. It's a fun little match, nothing to go crazy about. But at the end of it all, the Young Bucks and the Jurassic Express did pick up the win. At the end of it, the Young Bucks were serious. They didn't do a post-match celebration, anything. They just, hell, even in their entrance, they do the little pose and the confetti pops up. They were serious. Again, you got to remember, last week, they kicked Hangman Page out of the Elite. Whatever that fucking means. They kicked him out of the clubhouse, if you will. And it was because Hangman Page cost the Young Bucks a shot at the tag titles. So all that kicks into, and I said this on Twitter, and I'm going to say it again. to me, it's a big mistake that you're not doing the Young Bucks versus FTR on All Out. Again, say what you want. Oh, I get it. You know, hey, you want to have that match when you have a full capacity of people in the building. I get that. But at the end of the day, this is their biggest show of the year, despite if you're selling tickets or not. It is still the biggest show of the year. It's All Out. This is their WrestleMania. It's like WWE. Fuck, the WWE had WrestleMania in a fucking performance center at a fucking warehouse. And they had their big matches for that show. It's not like, if you think about it, right? Let me throw an example. God damn it. If I can think of one right now. It's not they did Brock and Drew on an episode of Monday Night Raw, right? No, they say that shit for WrestleMania. Even if the pandemic never happened, right? You wanted to see Brock and Drew go at it in that stadium, right? What have you. But still, the pandemic happened, and they did it at the fucking performance center, at the warehouse, what have you, in fucking Orlando. Here, again, the Young Bucks and FTR, a match that people have been talking about for a long time, right? Even when FTR were the revival in WWE, the dream match, the revival in the Young Bucks, right? And you can do it. You would think you would do it at All Out, your biggest show of the year, but no. And I hope to God it doesn't happen. I hope to God you don't throw the first match on a free television, because that would be stupid as shit. That's just me, of course. But other than that, this match, for what it's worth, I think the Young Bucks will win, because it's going to go into what's going to happen later on in the night. So there's that. And it should be a fun little match. They'll do some silly spots. It is what it is. The Young Bucks do get the win, but at the same time, Jurassic Express, that being Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, they do get the rub. So there's that. From there, we get the Dark Order. The Dark Order of the TNT champion, Mr. Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. The four of them taking on the team of Matt Cardona, former Zack Ryder, Scorpio Sky of SCU, and the Natural Nightmares of Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. 8-man tag. I'm sorry, this to me is the bathroom break match. I don't care who you are. You can tell me, but it's Brody Lee and the Dark Order. The Dark Order now looks like a fucking threat, and I agree with that. But it doesn't change the fact that this is, in my opinion, the bathroom break. It really, really is. To me, if I can be honest here, okay, we're wasting, to my understanding, Matt Cardona, in case you guys don't know, again, that's Zack Ryder, right, has a 5-appearance deal with AEW, where he's not even signed to a contract. He showed up on the episode of Dynamite after Cody defended the title against Warhorse, I believe it was, right? And the Dark Order came out and what have you. He made the save for Cody. He came out, I think, last week, was it last week, when the Dark Order were in the ring and they brought the coffin and stuff like that, and there was that giant brawl in the ring, what have you. And now he's coming out. So they already used 3 appearances for Matt Cardona. You're wasting appearances for no fucking reason. To me, what this should have been is Mr. Brody Lee defending that title against Dustin Rhodes, because Dustin wants to avenge his brother's defeat. Remember, Mr. Brody Lee destroyed Cody to the point where Cody is now taking time off to sell the fact that he took a beating, right? And here's Big Brother, here's Dustin Rhodes trying to avenge the loss. And if you don't have, and hell, you don't even have to put the title on the line. I would have rather seen that than this multi-person match, tag team match, what have you. Or hell, even do Mr. Brody Lee versus Scorpio Sky if you wanted to. But this, to me, just going to be clutter as shit. If I'm picking a winner, picking the Dark Order. So there's that. At the same time, maybe you can have Dustin pin Mr. Brody Lee. But how stupid would that be as well? That'd be so fucking dumb. So there's that. And after that, we're going to go to another multi-person match. This time, it's a 21-man casino battle royal where the winner gets a shot at the AEW World Championship down the road. We have Darby Allin, Lance Archer versus Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks versus Pentagon Jr. versus Ray Phoenix versus The Butcher versus The Blade versus Eddie Kingston versus Sean Spears versus Billy versus Austin Gunn versus Jake Hager versus Santana versus Ortiz versus Chuck Taylor versus Trent and versus to be determined. So right there, I just named you like 18 people or so that's going to be in that match. And again, I did watch last night, like I mentioned, and I did see there was this huge brawl between everyone that was in the match, right? You had Brian Cage and Taz come out with Ricky Stark. They're talking about the Casino Battle Royal, how one of them are going to win it. And then out came Jake Roberts with Lance Archer, and they had an exchange back and forth. And then out came Eddie Kingston. And I thought that was cool. You had Eddie Kingston, Jake Roberts, and Taz all in one ring, cutting it back and forth on the mic. 3 of the best promos talkers in wrestling. I thought that was cool. And then you had, like I mentioned, Eddie Kingston. He came out with his crew. He came out with Pentagon. He came out with Ray Phoenix. He came out with the Butcher and the Blade. Then out came members of the Inner Circle, Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz. Out came Trent and Chucky T. Out came Darby Allin running into Ricky Starks, and every guy that was a part of the AEW Dark got into the ring as well and started brawling. Sean Spears was lurking in the background. I'm wondering who's going to make a surprise appearance, because you already know for a fact there'll be surprise appearances. I could assume here, Brian Pillman Jr. I would like to see, again, if we could see some surprises, right? Some real surprises. James Storm from NWA, considering that, hey, you have Thunder Rosa competing on the show. She's from the NWA, so you want to believe there's an NWA AEW working relationship there, or some sort, or something like that, right? Maybe Eli Drake, maybe Outlandish, Zicky Dice. I'm just throwing some names out there, okay? But there's that. Who I think could win this, honestly, as a surprise, and not really a surprise, but I could see winning it. Believe it or not, out of all the guys there, I would say Sean Spears. I know Chase is not going to like that one. But Chase Oliver, if you hear me say Sean Spears, he probably will go insane. But I think Sean Spears will win. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong on this one. But there's that. And at the same time as well, considering what's going to happen in the main event, if we're going to go with a babyface, I'm going to choose Darby Allin. Yeah, it's a babyface, Darby Allin. If we're going to go with a heel, I'll go with Sean Spears. So there's that. But again, a battle royal all over the place. We're going to have now for the AEW Women's Championship, we have the champion Hikaru Shida defending her championship versus the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. Now, Thunder Rosa had her AEW debut match on Dynamite last night against Serena Deeb. I thought the match was pretty good for what it was worth. Obviously, Thunder Rosa got through with a Thunder Bomb. And there was that. And I think, again, it's cool to see that we're getting this sort of in the eyes of some people, a dream match. Hey, here's Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion, right? She beat, again, the likes of a Penelope Ford. She beat Nyla Rose. She beat whoever they put in front of her, she beat, basically, right? And the belief is there's no one there left for her to face. So if you're AEW, what do? You reach out to the NWA, you reach out to the outside, right? And you bring in Thunder Rosa, which at the same time, a lot of people on social media, prior to this match being made official, have been wanting to see. Like, people throw on Twitter, at Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida, make it happen, AEW, make it happen, NWA. So here we go. And the build-up, I thought overall is fine. I did think the contract signing was kind of funny because they signed their contract in a hotel room and you saw the fucking bathroom sink in the fucking background and shit. It should be a fun match. I'm not sure, though, if Thunder Rosa is signed to the AEW because, again, she is still the NWA Women's Champion. We don't know what's the state of the NWA right now. We don't even know. So I could sit here and tell you that she could win. That'll be cool to see. But at the same time, though, if you're AEW, you want to look after your homegrown talent, and Hikaru Shida is that right now. So it depends how you go through with this match. I'm going to say Hikaru Shida does pick up the win, but by disqualification. That's what I see happening here. Some technicality happens, some bullshit happens, but Hikaru Shida does get the win. So there's that. But at the same time, I do see Thunder Rosa making her way to AEW. I read a report, and it said that years ago, Thunder Rosa had a tryout for WWE, and apparently it was to be a female referee. Thank God she did not take that gig. Thank fucking God. But I look forward to the match, though. Regardless, I look forward to the match. From there, we go on to the AEW Tag Team Championship match. We have the champions Kenny Omega and Adam Page defending the tag title versus FTR. Now we did saw what happened last night on Dynamite, right? You had Kenny in the ring. He was being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Out came FTR to try to bring milk to make a peace, make a toast, and Kenny just wanted to fight. And Adam Page comes out. It looks like Adam Page hasn't slept in a week. And he's there. He's like at a loss for word. He's in shock. Again, he got kicked out of the Elite. He cost the Young Bucks an opportunity at the tag titles. And here we are. Right now, Hangman Page right here he's not there right now. He isn't. It should be a fun match. All the fuck you want. I do believe, yes, it'll be a good tag team match. One thing about AEW, when it comes to their high profile tag team matches, they get it right. That being said, considering that the Young Bucks are in a match with Jurassic Express, and I think that is for a future tag team title match, I do see, again, the Young Bucks winning their match, and I see FTR winning the tag titles, and that gives you the first FTR Young Bucks match. But again, I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again. To me, this match should have been FTR and the Young Bucks, but it didn't need to be for the titles. Could have been the first tag team match of these two guys going at it on the biggest show of the year for AEW. That's what it should have been. But it is what it is. We're going to get there eventually. But to me, though, it would be silly as shit if you give away the Young Bucks and FTR on free television. Considering the fact that, hey, NXT might be moving to Tuesday nights. So there's that as well. But I do see FTR picking up the win and winning the tag titles here. From there, we go on to the Mimosa Mayhem match. We have Chris Jericho, Le Champion, versus Orange Cassidy, where the only way to win this match is by pinfall, submission, or throwing the opponent into a tank of mimosa, combination of orange juice and champagne. This could either be one of the most, and again, I mean this in a hilarious way, the most creative shit I ever seen, or the biggest fucking disaster ready to fucking happen. Jim Cornette is just chopping at the bit to shit on this match. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it is what it is. The old man cannot fucking wait. But at the end of the day, we have to wait and see how this match goes down. I hope, for everyone's sake, this match delivered and lives up to the hype. Again, Chris Jericho beat Orange Cassidy a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite. Orange Cassidy did pick up his win at Fyter Fest. So they're 1-1. And that's the feud. And again, it's cool to see Jericho. And again, in a way, try to elevate Orange Cassidy. Again, on paper, let's be real about this. And you don't have to be a diehard AEW fan to admit this shit. But in reality, Orange Cassidy does not deserve to share the same ring with Chris Jericho. On paper. Say what you want. But that's the reality of it. But it's going to happen. I think for everyone's sake, Jericho needs to win this match. Because it will be silly as shit if Orange Cassidy does beat Jericho here. So I think Chris Jericho does win. But again, this could either be one of the best creative decisions that they could come up with from a match, from a booking perspective, or it could be the most biggest disaster ready to fucking happen. One of the fucking other. So there you go with that. And then from there, we go on to the main event of the evening. We have, for the AEW World Championship, Big Platinum, Jon Moxley defending his championship. That's right, Jon Moxley, the same Jon Moxley who's ranked #1 in the PWI 500. That same Jon Moxley versus MJF for Big Platinum. In a match where Moxley's paradigm shift is completely banned. He cannot use the move throughout the match. And I've been enjoying the campaign, the MJF that he's been having, right? This whole presidential theme, if you will. I think that's awesome. Creative, right? Especially at a time when we're going into elections, right? All that being said, I personally feel like Jon Moxley, again, can hit it out of the park when he wants. That being said, at the same time, I've been enjoying Moxley's promos here. I've been enjoying, especially last week on Dynamite, where they're doing the whole contract signing and the whole page 17. I thought that was funny as shit, right? That being said, last night on Dynamite, you had MJF's lawyer, Mark Sterling, versus Jon Moxley, where Sterling was dressed in all this fucking padding and shit, scared out of his fucking mind because if the match didn't happen, MJF wouldn't get his world title match at All Out. Moxley got the win, and then he got attacked. MJF just literally went buck wild on the dude. They're punching him with the fucking diamond ring, literally split him open. He was biting Moxley, poured his blood on his face, all that stuff, right? That being said, again, MJF got the upper hand here. Going into the pay-per-view, you want to make him believable. Here you go. That being said, kind of hints that, hey, maybe he'll lose. I'll be real about it. I would not have an issue with MJF winning. That being said, I take that back. I am going to go with MJF. Because that's the belief that I have. I believe here that MJF is going to win the belt. You make a bias. So there's that. I'm going to go with MJF. I think it's time to take the belt off Jon Moxley. Had a good run with it. Now it's time to move on. So there's that. Again, it should be a fun match, all the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with MJF winning the AEW World Championship. And this is basically all out. Again, it should be a fun show. There's some matches that I look forward to, some that I don't look forward to. But there's that. Guys in the chat, give me your predictions on All Out. Reminder, I'll be going live this Saturday once All Out is done with a live review. Myself, I have Big Mike, I have Walter, likely as well Chase Oliver. So there's that as well. So again, I encourage all you dorks to please hit that bell icon. Be notified when I upload a video. Be notified when I go live and all that fun stuff. All right. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. Give the video a big old thumbs up. And as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, dorks and motherflowers, we are officially entering AEW All Out Labor Day weekend. Have fun, stay safe, and yeah. Peace out, dorks. This has been Around the Point.